How's it going, everyone? We are back with some league racing here in RTA for a new season in the Formula Cars after taking a break from last season in the Touring Car Championship. And for this one, as you can see, we are in the Dallara IR18 IndyCar, newly updated just before this season started. It actually caused the season to be delayed by a week, but we are here now for round one at Road America. And looking at the rest of the calendar, we go to Watkins Glen for round 2, then Indianapolis at the Oval, then onto the Daytona Road Course, Mid-Ohio, the streets of Long Beach, then back to Daytona for the Oval before finishing off the season at Barber Motorsport Park. So a bit different for this season, obviously racing on two ovals in Indy and in Daytona. So RTA usually don't race on the ovals because we usually don't race in series that would typically visit ovals. So it'll be interesting to see how those tracks and those races go. A lot of people probably not having any or much experience of racing on the ovals, especially in the IndyCars. But for this one now, we are in qualifying and we're heading towards the end of qualifying because I forgot to start the recording until over halfway through. But this is still just the first lap that I'm going to finish as we're coming up the long run to the line to set a 1:44.5, which puts me in P10, which was more than I was expecting, and I think it could be my best qualifying in RTA. I kind of forgot how qualifying worked in iRacing, and I was going to back off and start another lap after this, but time ran out, and in the end we did finish in P10, just over a second off pole position of Sean McGoldrick, but it's very tight in and around 10th place where I am, so hopefully it can stay tight during the race and maybe we can move up a few more positions. So as we get ready to get going for the first race of this season, rolling starts as is the case in IndyCar. The pace car pulls into the pit lane and Sean from pole position goes very quickly after that. Luckily we got a good reaction and we are side by side now with Simon Hutchins on the run down into turn 1. Very cold tyres on the first couple of laps, so taking it nice and easy into turn 1. Managed to get ahead of Simon and move up one place already into P9. Is now into turn 3. Again, just taking it nice and easy on the cold tyres. And speaking of tyres, if you look in the top left, another interesting thing for this season is the different tyre compounds that we have in IndyCar. As we head down into turn 5. Broke a little bit too late there, luckily avoiding the rear end of Dara Halley. But yeah, back to the tyres. Two compounds in IndyCar, the reds which are softer, faster but don't last as long, and then the whites, the alternates, the harder tyres which aren't as fast but they don't heat up as quick, they hold their pace for longer. And in this first race, 10 minutes long, most guys have elected to go for the softer alternate tyres. I've decided to go with the primaries, just felt I didn't have much of a pace difference between the two, so there to ensure that I have better grip and pace at the end of the race. As on the first time running down into Canada Corner, we go to the outside of Dara Halley, trying to hold it using all the track that is available to us, and through Thunder Valley then into the second last corner on the inside, just not able to hold a position there. As there's a crash up ahead, that was Jordan Kelly and Conor Melia also having a few issues, so getting two positions there from those guys probably coming together. Dara seems to have got a bad run as we get into the slipstream. Starting lap 2 now, push to pass will also be enabled, so that's another strategy thing to look out for. As I see there in the rear view mirror that Dara actually has front wing damage, which probably made that pass a bit easier. But first lap up into P6 already, and yeah, that was kind of all that happened for this race. Couple of laps into it, heading into the carousel, a lot of gravel on the track. 30 in the tyres had a bit of a moment which didn't look like a lot, but it felt like a lot more in the car. As we skip ahead now to the last lap, the last few corners, we've held our position in P6. Through the second to last corner, there's Brandon McCaughlin and Sean McGoldrick off the track going slowly, so those two had it coming together here on the last lap, and that means that out of the final corner, we're going to come across the line for my best result in RTA with a P4 finish here at Race 1 in Road America. So P4 it was then, still 11.5 seconds off Ronan Doherty, who won. But yeah, very happy with my best result, as I mentioned, in RTA. And it also means that it is my best starting position for race 2. So as we roll through the final corner to get going here from the second row of the grid, first time being able to see the first place at the start here in RTA. Ronan goes, he gets a good jump on Dylan, and I think I've got a good jump on Peter, who was alongside me, and I managed to get the slipstream off Ronan, and heading down into turn 1, we're in second place going into the first turn. Dylan sends it down the inside then and managed to take that place back, but still in a podium position in P3. Could have had a look down the inside there, but again with cold tyres didn't feel too confident, and to be honest my heart was beating out of my chest at this point, because I know that these lads are a good bit faster than me. I'm a bit higher up than I probably should be. We're heading down into turn 5. Peter has a bit of a look down the inside. We have better momentum around the outside, and we managed to hold it for now. So yeah, at this point I was not really focused on the two ahead. I knew they were going to be faster than me, and I was just going to try and hold the highest position that I could, and hopefully if things go my way I can sneak onto a podium. But through the carousel, running a bit wide. Again, looking at the tyres in this one, nearly everybody for this longer 15-minute race has switched on to the primary wide tyres, except for Peter, who is on the alternate, so him being behind softer tyre, a bit faster than me in general, could be a bit difficult to keep him behind. As on the exit of Canada corner, running a bit wide there, putting the wheel onto the gravel. There's a bit of momentum, but luckily we managed to keep pointing in the right direction and holding on to this position as we come across the line to finish lap 1, and for the first time in RTA being classified for a lap in a podium position, and hopefully we can try and hold on to it for a bit longer. On the exit of turn 1, pressure starting to get to me a bit, running a bit wide. That was something that I noticed myself, not really at the time, but on reflection of this race, was I was looking in my mirrors way too much, looking at the delta to see how close Peter was, rather than focusing on myself and trying to put in the best laps that I could and drive to my best into turn 5. Went a bit defensive. Peter was pretty close and didn't want him diving down the inside like he tried to do on the opening lap, and putting us offline and taking our position at this point. Just really wanted to try and hold on to it for as long as I can, but into turn 6 was somewhere where I didn't feel that I was very strong, and Peter closed in a lot there. And now on the back straight, we're going to head through the kink, putting on push to pass, turning it off in 6th gear, because after 5th or 6th gear it doesn't give too much of a benefit. But Peter has a run at me with the slipstream. He's down the inside. I'm going to try and brake late and hold it around the outside of Canada corner. And we lock the rear a bit, go for a bit of a slide into the gravel. Managed to hold it, but then trying to get back onto the track. Sean McClemens, he just runs into the back of me there. I've lost my rear wing, and yeah, ended up spinning then because of no rear wing. I'm going to have to come into the pits and get that all repaired. Sean does apologise for that, which I do appreciate, and with the fast repair here in RTA we get fixed nice and quickly back onto the track, but down in P24. Looking at a replay here from Sean's perspective, you can see just he was a bit unsighted, which is unfortunate. He wouldn't have been expecting a car to be going so slowly, honestly, on the racing line, which probably wasn't the best, but I didn't have much else places to go, so just an unfortunate incident there, and those things happen in racing, unfortunately. But we kept going then, have a bit of a moment there, a couple of laps later, just through the second to last corner, and then once again through the carousel, just clipping the grass on the inside, going for a bit of a slide, luckily keep it out of the wall. Sean does go past, then we go down into 22nd place. We had made up a few positions and are making up another one there from other people having issues and being in the pits. So find ourselves now in P19, and that's where we're going to finish as we come up to the line to finish race 2, which started off so well, and then we ended up just inside the top 20. So P18 it was then in the end, losing 14 places and nearly a minute 15 behind the winner, which was Ronan Doherty, Dylan McClements and Brandon McLaughlin rounding out the podium. In all honesty, I don't think I would have held on to the podium in that race, but I feel like I could have got a top 10, maybe a top 8, and been starting up near the front again for the final race in Road America. So for the final time here in Wisconsin, we head towards the green flag down in P18. I thought we were going there, and then I backed off because I didn't see the car ahead of me going, but turns out that was when we were going there. Ended up getting into the limiter, so not the best start, losing position or two on the run into turn 1. Then into turn 1, going around the outside, challenging Tony Stack for P19, down into turn 3. Outside again, Finlay Melvin down the inside of Tony, being very aggressive as Finlay usually is. So we managed to get that move done. Now they're side by side between David and David, the two Daves, heading down into turn 4. I'm taking it nice and easy, and you can see there in the replay, Finley's absolutely sending it down the inside, taking out, I think that was Tony, or not really too sure who it was, as there's more carnage up in turn 5. Ronan off the track there from P8, last race winner, obviously in RTA, the top 8 being reversed for the final feature race, as then there's even more carnage down in turn 6. We managed to get past Sean. We have the inside line now through the carousel, trying to hold it, and then on the exit David doesn't get as good of a run. We get a bit of understeer, just going off the track, as now the 4 of us, myself, David, Sean and Keith, through the kink. Then there's Dylan off the track. It's all happening on the run down into Canada Corner on this opening lap. Little bit of side to side contact with David Ward as we're on the inside, just going through those sweeping S's. Not really a straight, but still flat out. And somehow we managed to survive that and find ourselves up in P15. So it's all action there on the opening lap. It's on the right hand side, another car heading into the pits. That is Jordan Kelly, so he had an issue in the first race and seems to have more issues now in race 3 here as we move up into P14. Skipping ahead to later on lap 2, then right up behind Simon Hutchings, having a little look down the inside. Then into turn 6, more carnage, there's smoke, there's a car sideways, and I end up clipping, I think that was Nicky, I can't remember his second name, but seemed to have a bit of a spin, and you can see here sideways. I did go slower than I usually would there, but just wasn't able to get to the inside enough. Just clipped my front right and broke my suspension, as I think that was David who ended up hitting into the back of me then and breaking his front wing. So very unfortunate incident there. Once again, it was looking good. Seemed to have good pace, we were making up a few positions. We were in 15th and now coming out of the pits again using the fast repair. We did have to take a tow on that occasion to get back to the pits as we go off the track in turn 3. Had a bit of a lock-up and just wanted to be extra cautious to not end up rear-ending the cars that are a lap or two ahead of me. We skip ahead then to lap 7, heading down into turn 5, just letting Jordan Kelly pass, and that allows Dawid to be within 2 tenths of me, and he was a couple of seconds back, so I think I was a bit kinder with letting traffic through than he was, especially Jordan, as later on that lap have a big moment through the carousel, end up in the gravel, and that allows Dawid to go through then anyway to come back onto the track. I think that was Dylan who then went past there. Very close, a lot closer than I was expecting it to be. Luckily, no harm in doing. But now we are on the final lap here in Road America. One of my favourite tracks in the world, one of my favourite tracks to drive, especially on iRacing. But it's been not too kind to me tonight in RTA. Good result in qualifying, which gives me confidence for the rest of the season that I have decent enough pace. And then good result in race 1, showing me that just keeping it clean can lead to good results this season. But race 2 and race 3 were kind of unfortunate, and yeah, just a bit of bad luck really, meaning that not getting the results I feel like I could have got in this round. Next time out in Watkins Glen, another track that I do enjoy, so hopefully we can build more momentum at the start of the season there, and then on to Indianapolis, which anything could happen at the over races this season. But for the others, kind of unknown, ones that I don't really drive at too much, so not sure what my pace will be like. But for this one, heading to the line, out of the final corner for the final time, we're going to finish race 3 in P21. So it was actually 22nd in the end, a lap behind Peter McCann, who won the race, and very good result by Brian McCarthy getting second. Brian is someone I'd usually imagine is around my pace, so him getting a podium there just shows that there is opportunities for good results for people around our pace this season. And then taking a look at the results after this opening round, in 14th, 32 points, and it's very close obviously at the start of the season, with Peter McCann leading the way from Dylan McClements and Ronan Doherty. But that is it for this round of RTA and round 1 of the IndyCar series. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe for more of these league racing videos. But until the next one, thanks for watching, see you then.